What's good, Chiefs Kingdom, and welcome back to the Water Boys channel as we got some actions today. The Chiefs actually made a move, and it's a move we expected, but with the free agency and how it's been going for KC, we were losing hope in it. But before we do dive into this transaction, please be sure to subscribe to the channel as I will keep you up to date daily on any Kansas City Chiefs news and rumors that happens throughout the year. And with that being said, let's dive into Juju being a Kansas City Chief. So it's crazy how things work out, because last night I released a video basically saying KC's quiet, they might not make moves, but there's still moves to be made because anything can happen, but they might be focusing on the draft. And one of the moves I said they could still be made, and something we've expected, but with how weird this free agency has been for KC, was Juju. And now he is a Kansas City Chief. He signed a one-year deal with a max of $10.5 million. The most beautiful thing about Juju being in Kansas City, one, is it gives him finally a solidified wide receiver number 2. But the sweetest thing of it is the contract. People see the $10.5 million, which honestly, in the wide receiver market, I still think that's even good too. But KC, they played robbery, and that's what Veach does. He knows how to find deals and things like that, and he does it probably to the best of anyone's ability. I don't focus on any other team and how they structure their contracts, but when it comes to Veach, he knows what he's doing. So when we see that 10.5, some people might think that's high. I think it was just right. But then when it comes out, the base is $3 million. $3 million. With the 7 other million being incentives, which means, of course, I don't know what the language is in the contract, but let's say you catch touchdowns in the playoffs. You get over 80 catches a year. You get over 10 touchdowns. It's going to be that type of language that adds the 7 million together. But 3 million base for a Juju? Yeah, I know he's coming off a shoulder injury, but I would rather take him coming off a shoulder injury than a major knee injury or like ankle, Achilles injury. Like, his legs are still there. He's 25 years old. And the beautiful thing with the contract, even though it's 1 year, it's a prove-it deal, and it's filled with incentives, he's going to ball his ass off. This is the same thing I talked about with Frank Clark. He's got incentives in his contract too. Veach is basically saying, hey, you can have the money. You got to take it though. And I love it because it makes players fight for it. And it's exciting to see. And I think Juju fits on this team perfectly. And he also gets to fill the role which he's used to. We know Juju's not a solid #1 receiver in the NFL. But he's had some of his best years as a slot receiver. And excuse me, even before that too, like, he was still productive. But those years with Antonio Brown, even though Antonio Brown and him got into his little beef back and forth, that's when he was solid. That's when he was putting up double-digit touchdowns, when he was putting over 1,000 yards, when he was putting over 100 catches in a year. That season was very good. And if the Chiefs can put him in the slot right there, which that's what they'll use him for, I'm not saying he'll give you that type of production, but man, if he does, KC is gonna be scary. We said there was some way KC needed an answer on the offensive side of the ball, and I'm glad they got Juju, because I was starting to get concerned of how quiet it was, because when you follow the Chiefs fan base on Twitter and it's a lot of negativity and all that, and you just think it's all downhill, it kind of, brings you in. So I had to come back to myself. I'm glad Juju signed with KC. It's a good sign to see. As also, do I think they're done offensive side of the ball? No. Like I mentioned before, they can also sign another wide receiver. Now, I'm not going to say to the stature of like a Juju, because I don't think that was going to happen. And honestly, it's funny because before and last night after my video, I was thinking I got a perfect video, and then the news came out too. It was like, KC might trade for Robert Woods. Now I think that is out of the woods. but like, that would have been a good match, and I think Robert Woods fits great in this offense, but so does Juju. But I'm thinking on the lines of, and you will see it around the internet also, it's like a reception type of guy, kind of like a Cole Beasley. I know Cole Beasley isn't liked around the NFL, but he's a good possession receiver, and he's a good 4th option too. But just think about this receiving core now. You got a Tyreek Hill, you got a Travis Kelce, you got a Juju, and you got a McCole. And McCole is playing for a contract next year too. We're going to be in a dilemma next year, I swear, because if Juju balls out and McCole balls out next year, we'll have to pay some guys. That's why you might want to pay Tyreek Hill now. Get that extension going, because you don't want to worry about that next year when it's Tyreek, McCole, and Juju, because I believe these boys are going to go off. I believe this is a good signing. And then let's take a further look into it, because I just talked about it, and I'll put them on the screen too, is the stats. And this is where I think it will be crucial, because Juju won't amaze you with his speed. He's a direct possession receiver. I'm not saying he's slow, but he's someone your quarterback can trust, and that's definitely what a slot receiver needs to be. It means he'll make every catch he needs to make. He'll make sure to get away from a defender. He'll make sure to block all the time, and there's some good blocks where he's laying people out like he's a linebacker. He's the kind of receiver you want on your team. And let's go through the stats. Like I mentioned earlier, he had a hot start to his career. Rookie to second years where he really blew the roof off and went over 1,000 yards, over 100 catches. I want to say it was like 9 or 10 touchdowns. And then there was a drop off, but the touchdowns were still there. And then, of course, I think this was the year after where he played like 12 games, still 500 yards. Still got the receptions too. He averages like 6 to 8 receptions a game. Just think about it. KC's never really had that as a number 2. They have not. You can go back to Sammy Watkins. Sammy Watkins was a hit or miss. Like, you would just hope for a big game. McCole, he's not that type of receiver also. Like, man, do you even want me to go like way back? Like, damn, what, Jeremy? Like, Chiefs, for some reason, they've always struggled with the number 2 wide receiver. So this is something new for this offense, and it's exciting to see. And like I said, they'll still look at another wide receiver too, just, to get bodies out there and to get depth too, because I think it's needed. Like I said, the signings we had the other day with like a Gore, a Fortson, and things like that, those are the type of pieces that will help you win championships. And we'll have to see also how Josh Gordon molds into this too. A full offseason under his belt. Can he make an impact on this team? Because last year he didn't do anything. So that could be another development we could be interested in too. And the more I think about it throughout the week too is, you guys heard me mention running back, and I know in the comments, and I see it a lot, is it's not the sexy pick. It's not what Chiefs fans are interested in. But I was also thinking, man, I mentioned it before, but maybe a Cordell Patterson would be really good on this team, because you could pay him in between, let's say you pay him the same as a Juju, like $2.5–3 million, because he's older. He's only had one Excel breakout year or two, and he will play running back, receiver, and special teams. Like, just think about that. You don't have to go look for another receiver. You can also have him come out the backfield, and you can also have him be your returner, which KC has kind of struggled with. They try to rotate out Hardman and Hughes is the better returner. But honestly, at this point, it's like I kind of don't want to see Hughes on the team, because if Hughes is on the team, he's not here just to be a returner. So it's going to be interesting to see moving forward. Now, the next piece I want to see is if you want to cap off this free agency. And I'm going to say cap it off, because I think if they do this, they'll have a better free agency than everyone in the AFC West. And now, it's all a perspective thing, so take this with a grain of salt. But if they do get Zadarius and Juju, I think KC wins it, because that means they can do whatever they want in the draft now. It's going to be on the defensive side of the ball, of course, so you can go focus on the cornerback, linebacker. Right tackle is a need, but I don't think it's that early of a need. But if you address a pass rusher, that means everything's available for you at that point. So that's why I say KC wins, because KC had a different starting line than everyone else. So if someone like a Zadarius Smith comes in, yeah, I understand Denver went all out. The Raiders got Devontae Adams. The Chargers got Khalil Mack and all that. Different starting line. KC, if they fill the holes they need to fill, it's going to be kind of like the same gap, and it's going to be hard to stop this team again. I'm glad to see this team making moves. I don't think they are finished, because, like I said, week 2 is when Veach gets started. He kind of got us started a little bit before the weekend, but I don't think he's nowhere near done. Chiefs fans, Chiefs Kingdom, hop in the comments down below. How you feeling about this Juju Smith signing? I know y'all guys are excited because we haven't had a transaction. It feels like a whole damn year. Don't forget about Justin Reed. He's also on this team as well. Huge signing there. But with that, I'm going to be checking out. But before I do, like I mentioned, I will have Chiefs news for you guys daily. So with that being said, do subscribe to the channel. Do like this video. And thank you guys for checking in. I am checking out. Peace.